Welcome to the Car and Bike Show. I'm Siddharth Vinayak Partankar, wishing you all a very happy World Environment Day. Now, you might say that this is very cliched for me to be here with a bunch of electric vehicles, but this is also the sign of our times. Our market is definitely going through a huge switch and a huge transition. It'll take some time in terms of volumes, but electric vehicles are here to stay, and we see some really credible examples of them with us that are already available. Speaking of which, there's a car that's recently got a lot of attention. It's the longer range version of the Nexon EV, taking things to the max. Is it enough? And is it really as exciting as Tata claims? Here's our review of the Tata Nexon EV Max.
Tata did really well to gain a massive first mover advantage in the passenger vehicle EV segment, and the Tata Nexon EV had a huge role to play in that, with the company garnering a share of almost 87% in the said segment. And to further strengthen the charge of the Nexon EV, yes, that's a pun right there, Tata Motors recently launched the Nexon EV Max. With extended range and more features, this vehicle will go on sale with the regular variants of the Nexon EV. The highlight here is the increased range and a bigger battery pack. The 30.2 kWh battery pack on the standard Nexon now grows to a bigger 40.5 kWh battery pack on the Max. Resulting in an increased range of over 100 kilometers for a total of 437 kilometers. That is, of course, under standard testing conditions. What also go up are power and torque output along with the top speed from 120 kmph on the standard Nexon to 140 kmph on the Nexon EV Max. So the driving experience of the Nexon EV Max is pretty similar to the standard Nexon EV, and that's not a bad thing at all. I mean, the feeling of getting the rush of torque right from the word go never gets old. And as far as the suspension is concerned, the car offers a pliant, comfortable ride with the occupants always in comfort, and the setup kind of irons out all the undulations on the road. Apart from that, as far as handling is concerned, the intent has always been to offer a sporty, more precise and engaging driving experience, which the electric SUV does. Talking about performance, the Nexon EV Max is not too different from the Nexon EV. The D mode offers up to 60% power, and a tap on the accelerator results in a smooth linear flow of torque. Put the car in sport mode and the experience becomes even more fun. Tata claims that the 0 to 100 km per hour run is done in less than 9 seconds, and that's quick. Quick enough to have you grinning silly, especially when overtaking. There are 3 driving modes on offer: Eco, Sport and City. An observation that stood out was that despite its stunning looks, the rotary knob is neither the smoothest nor the fastest. So in case you have to reverse the car in a jiffy or do a 3-point turn, you will need to give the knob enough time to toggle between parking, reverse, neutral and drive. The car now weighs 100 kilos heavier compared to the Nexon EV on account of additional equipment and a bigger battery pack. Plus, the ground clearance goes down by 10mm too and stands at 190mm. The suspension and the flow structure have been tweaked accordingly to accommodate the bigger battery which is IP67 rated. The other highlight is that the Nexon EV Max gets 4 levels of regenerative braking from 0 to 3. 0 of course means that there's no regenerative braking, so to speak, and 3 of course is the maximum level with which you can drive with a single pedal. If you spend your maximum time driving in the city, then level 1 and level 2 work the best. Tata says that the Nexon EV Max gets more than 30 additional features over the standard model, which includes safety features like hill hold assist, hill descent control, electronic parking brake and disc brakes all around. The center console on the Tata Nexon EV Max has been redesigned, and the biggest highlight here is this, the new rotary knob. This part is completely new and Tata says it's called the jeweled knob. Of course, it adds a sense of premiumness to the cabin, and the overall layout, the design, the textures, they stay the same as before. What are the added extra features over the Nexon EV? Well, to begin with, the front seats, they're ventilated, yes. The upholstery that you see, it's called Macarana beige. It's a new option, particular only to the Nexon EV Max. Then you have auto dimming IRVM here, wireless charging smartphone, that's another added feature, and other assorted features that we'll tell you about. As far as technology is concerned, the EV gets 8 new features on the upgraded Z Connect 2.0 connected car technology. The Z Connect app offers a total of 48 connected car features. Nexon EV Max continues to get a 7-inch touchscreen with Harman audio system as before. The Nexon EV Max also gets a special color scheme called Intensity, along with a new beige interior option that we already told you about. Now, the Nexon EV Max gets 2 charging options, a 3.3 kilowatt charger or a 7.2 kilowatt AC fast charger, which reduces the charging time to 6.5 hours. The Nexon EV Max can be charged from 0 to 80% in an hour from a 50 kilowatt DC fast charger. The Nexon EV is the undisputed king of electric vehicles in the Indian market, with over 19,000 units plying on Indian roads. And with the launch of the Nexon EV Max, Tata Motors has done well to bolster its reputation as a company that holds electric mobility in good stead. Buyers will appreciate the extra features and the long range, even if it comes at a slight premium. And as far as the sales is concerned, we don't see any other EV overtaking the Tata Nexon EV as the best-selling electric car in India.
Tell us what you think of the Max version of the Nexon EV. Now, the TVS iQube, another product that got a lot of attention when it first arrived. It's already going through some big changes and getting more and more enhanced. You have the basic range going from about 70-75 kilometers all the way to 100 kilometers on the standard version, also the next variant. But then you also have the longer range version of that coming in just a few days' time. That's the ST variant that will take range to 140 kilometers. So yes, even these products are just getting better and better. Let's take a short break. We'll have another EV for you on the other side. Welcome back to CNB. We're celebrating World Environment Day, and so it's a bit of an EV special. The ZS EV was one of the first volumes models we really saw driving into the electric car space. It got its facelift earlier this year. It also gets about 40 odd kilometers more in terms of driving range, and once again picking up in popularity. Lots of action though that continues to happen at the premium and luxury end of the electric car market, and we have seen a whole lot of cars driving in. The BMW i4 very recently, and then of course its own cousin, the Mini Cooper SE. It's a car that came in a little while ago. We haven't yet brought you the review. We saved it up for today here is the review of the electric Mini.
Like a go-kart, that's the term we've often come to associate with the mini hatchbacks. Small, quick and fun, these British beauties have remained retro cool over the years despite all modern bits thrown in good measure to keep up with the competition. But evolution is the name of the game, and Mini going electric is just one step forward for the iconic brand. But can it deliver on the thrills just like its petrol sibling? As far as styling goes, there's not a lot to differentiate this electric car from its petrol sibling, but whatever changes are there are subtle yet significant. The biggest of them all is this blanked out grille. Yes, they have taken the liberties and given you a nice looking grille. And then you have aero efficient wheels on this electric vehicle that also contribute to the electric factor of the car. Some more subtle changes are these neon highlights you can see here on the front, on the grille, on the profile. The mirror also uses the color, and then even on the rear, the significant electric badge, again subtle yet significant. The iconic bits including the round headlamps with the LED DRLs as well as the Union Jack inspired LED taillights have been retained. The proportions haven't meddled with either. India does get the black styling package, and that further adds to the sporty looks of the hatchback. And it comes in a fully loaded trim with no optional extras. That's certainly more value than the regular Mini. The black and yellow theme extends to the cabin, and there's no real change over the petrol-powered version. The 8.8-inch infotainment screen is familiar and comes from the BMW group, but is quite old compared to some newer units offered by rivals. It also misses out on Android Auto, surprising at this price point. The quirky round console has been retained, and barring the neon highlights, there's little to tell you that you are seated in an electric car. We still like the digital instrument console that offers a minimal appearance from behind the wheel. With respect to features, you do get the usual creature comforts including dual zone climate control, Harman Kardon audio system, wireless charging, ambient lighting and more. And yes, the toggle switches still remain a part of the pack. But you are waiting to know how does it drive, aren't you? Now the big question, it's always a challenge to convert an internal combustion engine car into an electric avatar, especially when in this case this car is around 150 kgs heavier than the petrol car. So how do the dynamics change? Well, I'm happy to say that at least in terms of handling and the way this car takes corners, it's beautiful. It's the same feeling that you get on a Mini Cooper with a petrol engine. That is what you get here on this electric version as well. You can throw it around corners at high speeds, and this car gives you a lot of confidence. Suspension is stiff, that is what you want from a Mini Cooper, and you get that on this car as well. The only difference I feel is that the steering is probably not as engaging as it is on the petrol version of the car, but then you do have different modes. So put this in the sport mode and the fun element goes up on this electric car. The single electric motor on the Mini Cooper SE packs about 180 brake horsepower and 270 Newton meters, all of which is immediately available to your right leg. Despite the additional weight, the car gets a 30mm lower center of gravity thanks to the floor-mounted batteries. The batteries have been placed in a T-shaped pack in order to be least intrusive into the cabin. It does take away from the ground clearance though, that's lowered to 128mm. So yes, you will tiptoe around speed breakers and broken roads more often than you would like. The Mini Cooper SE shares its underpinnings with the petrol version and is based on the UKL architecture. That limits the battery size on the hatch with a 32.6 kilowatt-hour unit going into the car. Of course, Mini says that this is a car that's made more for the urban conditions. So as long as you're driving the car in the city, you will not have too many problems with the range anxiety. But then yes, if you're planning a long highway trip, you will have to plan it out and see how and where will you charge your vehicle on the way. But this is a car made for the urban environment, so there it should suit you well. And then you of course have the driving modes. You also have the Green Plus mode along with the Green mode, and you can see the real-time numbers on your screen when you're driving the car. So right now I'm in the Sport mode. It's showing me around 104 kilometers of range left with some 80% battery still left, and I can put it then in the Green mode and it range goes up to 113 kilometers. In the Green Plus mode, it goes up to 125 kilometers. Some functions stop working like the air conditioner to give you more range. So at least you have that option with you that if you're running out of battery, you can put this car in the Green mode, not use the AC and extract more out of the battery. The REGEN feature also helps with conserving range on the electric Mini. You can toggle between low and high settings, and that helps recover every bit of juice you need when navigating city traffic till the closest charging station. The car also comes equipped with heat pump function that reuses waste heat from the battery and motor to heat the cabin and helps make for a more efficient air conditioning unit. The car also comes with an auxiliary AC unit which will run the cooling function when the car is plugged during charging. But charging one should not take too much time if you are close to a 50 kilowatt DC charger. The car is compatible with these and will charge up to 80% in 35 minutes. Mini will also install an 11 kilowatt AC charger at the owner's home or office, which will fully charge the car in 3.5 hours. The Mini Cooper SE electric hatchback is priced at 47,20,000 rupees ex-showroom, and the first batch is already sold out. Let's not forget, it's the most accessible luxury EV you can get your hands on, with everything priced north of rupees 1 crore mark. As far as exclusivity goes, the electric Mini brings a ton of that, so no surprises as to why it's filling the order books fast. But does it live up to the legacy? Absolutely, and it also builds on it to give you a car that's every bit a modern day set of wheels.
So not everyone can maybe buy themselves a Mini Cooper SE or any of these fancy electric cars, or maybe even one of the slightly more affordable mass options that are available. Maybe you want to wait and watch. In the meanwhile though, you can still do a lot for the environment. Save water when you can, carpool when you can, just save electricity or even fuel when you can. Try and do your bit. I'm not going to say cycle in this weather, but yes, if you want to, try and use a bicycle as well. With those wonderful words of wisdom, I'm going to say goodbye. Happy World Environment Day from all of us at CNB. Thanks for watching. Please wear your seatbelts. Please wear your helmets. Bye-bye.